Glad to have you back. Now, in another development, workers in the aviation sector have warned of a full-blown strike should government fail to attend to their demands for improved welfare conditions. The workers made this known yesterday as they continued their two-day warning strike. Let's see this report before we get talking.
Air passengers continue to bear the brunt of persistent industrial actions as a result of conflicts between aviation workers and the government. This two-day warning strike is in protest over welfare issues. These include non-release of revised conditions of service over the last 7 years, non-payment of minimum wage, and consequential adjustments since 2019, as well as planned demolition of their Lagos offices. Only in January, local and international flights were disrupted following a similar action by the workers over the same demands. Now, the workers blame the government for not keeping to signed agreements.
You won't believe that the Minimum Wage Act was signed since 2019, but the aviation workers have not enjoyed this minimum wage and its consequential adjustment. And with Nigeria, we are going to the same markets. We are supposed to have the same purchasing power.
Workers insist immediate response to their demands by the government will guarantee industrial peace in the sector.
I've sent messages to the government, we've sent letters, we had meetings some time ago. They gave us promises upon promises. But in spite of all their promises, nothing is happening. That is why we come out to give this warning strike. We hope that after this warning strike, we will now call a full-blown strike in the aviation industry where we'll have to close the airport. Probably that is when they'll be able to listen to us.
Unions affected are the National Union of Air Transport Employees, Air Transport Service Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Association of Nigerian Aviation Professionals, and the National Association of Aircraft Pilots and Engineers.
The protesting aviation workers are hoping that the authorities will do what is right and ensure that all promises are kept so that the aviation sector is not totally grounded in days ahead.
Well, indeed, joining me live to deliberate on this and other industry issues, I introduced him earlier. He's an aviation journalist and analyst, Mr. Wale Shadari. It's good to have you in the studio, Mr. Shadari.
Thank you, Tolu, for having me.
How was your flight back to Lagos and all of these challenges that we faced in the last 2 days?
Yes, I think, yes, it was very hectic. It was very Herculean to travel. While the strike lasted, passengers were stranded because airlines couldn't fly. But it was just for a few hours. What it was just to show government that 2 days warning strike, that if they do not do what they are expected to do, then they will commence full-blown industrial action. And we know what that will cause to the aviation industry. And we also know that the government have had meetings with them with the way of reaching a middle ground to ensure that we do not experience what we got on Monday and Tuesdays. So it is our hope that the unions will not go on full-blown strike. And it is our hope, too, that the government will listen to their demands, especially the Wages Commission, which has nothing to do directly with the Ministry of Aviation now. It's the Wages Commission. I think they are looking into it. The workers' demands are also very genuine because this has been on for quite some time.
Yeah, according to them.
Some agencies have implemented this condition of service. I know the Nigerian AIB, Accident Investigation Bureau, which is Nigeria Safety Investigation Bureau, has taken care of its workers. But that is understandable because AIB is not as big as FAN, NCA, NAMA. AIB is just a small department that we actually grow to as big as these other agencies that I've mentioned because they have transmuted from Accident Investigation Bureau to Nigeria Safety Investigation Bureau. What it means is that they will be able to handle air crashes, rail accidents, road accidents, and maritime. All accidents in the transportation industry, they will be able to handle them. So it is our hope that government will look into this demand. And I'm sure they are also looking at the demands because the Director General of NCA met with the unions with a way of reaching a middle ground. Even the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, also met through his people, also met with the workers to see how they could resolve some of these problems.
So if we were to look at the loss, because, as a business person, well, we might not be able to quantify in figures, but we know what this means for an industry that's grappling with Forex issues, grappling with high aviation fuel and all of that.
But the truth of the matter is that when you have crisis like this and it has not been nipped in the bud or it has not been resolved, the consequences far outweighs the immediate environment, the immediate environment of aviation. It has a catalytic effect on every sector of the aviation industry. You're talking about aviation fuel, you're talking about even the airlines themselves, you're even talking about the agencies. So it will be difficult to quantify what the industry has lost, but I want to believe that by and large, the industry lost close to more than 10 billion naira within these 2 days.
Wow.
Although the figures are not yet out, but if you put all this together, we could record losses in that region. So it's a big one, but it's not also limited to Nigeria, because we do not even have strikes in the aviation industry compared to what you have with most of the airlines, most of the countries. I doubt if there's any country that has witnessed industrial actions like France, like Germany. Most times this industrial action leads to more than 20,000 flights cancellation in a day. So issues like this will always come out, but ability to deal with it, to nip this in the bud before they snowball into what we had is what really matters. Yes, workers will always demand for increased remuneration, condition of service, and all the rest. But by and large, the sector lost so much. That's just a warning. Then you can imagine if we have a full-blown industrial action that has the capacity of crippling the entire aviation industry and the entire aviation value chain. So we hope that the government will look into this, like the DGNC has assured that these demands will be looked into. Especially you get even worried when this demand has lasted for more than 10, 15 years. It's not this administration that inherited it. Some 13 years, some 15 years. But what we believe that the present administration has done well to meet some of the demands of the workers, but they need to do more to ensure that they say agreement is agreement. If you reach an agreement with them, you need to find the resources. You need to find everything to make sure that if you're not going to even solve virtually all the problems of the workers, at least you should be able to meet them halfway, which the government has started to do now.
We had feelers that some of the international airlines have started getting a little bit of funds, maybe for FX, the backlog and all of that. That's talking about their trapped funds. Is there any update around that?
Yes. The one thing about the airline industry or these airlines that are owed is that you always get to hear this when so much noise, so much agitation when they are owed a lot of money. But when government decide to defray some of this payment, you do not get to hear anything about it until it accumulates again. But we were in a press briefing last week where the president of NANTA, the Travel Agents Association, hinted us that the foreign airlines have started receiving some of their trap funds, but not all, but coming in trickles. And that is what we suggested to government, that this money is becoming pile up, is piling up.
Yes.
So, but what government should do is that they should be able to, if it's 10 naira, you should be able to say, okay, this month we're giving you 2 naira, 3 naira, and you spread this thing over a period of time. Because it's really not putting us in good light in the international community. This money belongs to the airlines. I quite understand that we have forest challenges, but at the same time, this money doesn't belong to the government. It belongs to the airline. And that is one of the items on the bilateral air services agreement, that you should allow the airlines to take their money, to repatriate their money as at when due. So what we have done is we have violated that agreement, that portion of the agreement, that allows them to repatriate their monies as at when due. So I want to believe that if the airlines are not going to get these monies before this administration winds up, it is our hope that the new administration will ensure that we do not get this type of, we do not get embarrassed with some of these things that have happened to the airline industry, especially to the foreign airlines, and look for a way to make sure that they get their monies back.
Any update around the concessioning process and all of that? I know the unions still had some reservations in regards to this.
Yes. One thing about the aviation industry is that no matter the policy you take in the aviation industry, there are so many people that will not be so comfortable with it, no matter how good the policy is. A lot of us believe that concession is good, but probably the workers are not so comfortable. I want to believe maybe because the way the process has been driven. But honestly, concession is the best way to go. But it must be done with transparency. It must be seen to be transparent so that the people are not just shortchanged. But the minister has promised that they follow everything in the books to make sure that
due process
that they followed that due process to ensure that, because we can't continue to run most of our airports the way we have run. Government does not have all the resources to begin to put money. There are more important things that government can put money into: education, health, and some other important things. Aviation should be allowed, the private sector should be allowed to run this, bring in their money, develop our airports, make them more attractive for people who are coming to fly. We shouldn't see airports as a place that you just come in and fly. You can relax around the airport. You can even check into some of the hotels there and say you want to even go around the airports, because you go to airports like Schiphol, Heathrow, honestly, you can even spend 4-5 hours seeing things around, going around those airports. And those things bring money. They generate money. We can't continue to run our airports the way we are running. Most of the facilities have decayed over the years. Yes, this government has tried enough to ensure investment, real investment in infrastructure. But like I said, those monies would have gone into things that are more important: education, healthcare, building of hospitals and schools and things like that. So the minister has assured that there's no going back on concession. How he does it within now and May 29, I know they are really working, even with the national carrier.
We're going to talk about that, because he's insisting that that will come up.
It's not
and
impossible.
It's about 40-something days
it's
to
go.
go.
It's not impossible, because what I know, because I spoke with the managing director, the man that is midwifing the airline, and he assured me that they are really working. Ethiopian Airlines has been training some Nigerians.
Wow, still on that deal.
So yes, they're still on the deal. So the only thing stopping that is the litigation by the foreign airlines. But you know, anything can happen in Nigeria. It's going to be, like I told somebody, it's the sixth wonder of the world if this thing materializes, because of the time we have between now. But government is continuing. They can put the process on, and if the incoming government sees any reason why they should continue with the project, I think they will continue. And if they find out that this project, they can't go on with this project, maybe that will prematurely lead to the death of the airline even before takeoff. So we just keep our fingers crossed and see what is going to happen between now and May 29, or even beyond May 29. So the possibility of having that airline is there. The only thing holding that airline is the litigation by some of the local airlines that have gone to court to stop it, because, one, of their own selfish interest. Secondly, because they also believe that the process is not so
Maybe they think
transparent.
they can offer that service.
No, they've given them the opportunity to offer that service, but they have not taken advantage of that. Okay, just look at it. Nigeria has about 90 bilateral services agreements signed with so many countries. What it means is that you can pick your aircraft and say you want to go to Amsterdam, we all have this agreement, but have we really taken advantage of that agreement? The answer is no. Yes, 1 or 2 airlines are doing very, very well, but they do not have the capacity to reciprocate some of these agreements, some of these airline deals that we have with foreign airlines. Yes, those foreign airlines are taking advantage of our own liberal aviation policy to really make a kill. So why can't we also have strong airlines that can also take advantage of that instead of having capital flight? Even if we get just 10% of the market share, that brings a lot of money into this country. But you find out that even the foreign operations that are done into Nigeria or outside Nigeria are done by the foreign airlines. So we are not even anywhere when it comes to reciprocating some of these airline deals or agreement or bilateral air services agreement. We are nowhere. So it is my hope that if the airline comes in, it will galvanize the local aviation industry, Nigerian aviation industry. Yes, we might not really have what it takes now to compete with big airlines, but with Ethiopian Airlines as a very good brand, hopefully we will leverage on that and begin to offer quality service and begin to reciprocate some of this agreement, because Nigeria is a signatory to the SATIM, Single Africa Air Transport Market, liberalization of air transport market in Africa. And if we don't have strong airlines to reciprocate that or to take advantage of that liberalization policy in Africa, we will only be shooting ourselves in the leg. So it is assumed that or agreed that with this national airline, if it comes, that Nigeria will take advantage of some of this agreement, including SATIM, because it doesn't really make sense. If you look at Africa, Africa is not well connected. If you want to go to a place like Sao Tome and Principe, I've always used that analogy. Most times you travel to Europe before connecting Sao Tome and Principe. Sao Tome and Principe from Nigeria is less than 1 hour or is about an hour. But you first of all go to Europe before connecting to Sao Tome and Principe, because we do not have good connection within Africa. You want to go to Congo and Congo connect to Algiers. We do not have a good connection. At times you want to go to a conference in one of these countries in Africa, it takes you like 5 days for you to connect Africa.
Yeah.
So what people do most times is go to Europe, because Europe have better connection. They now go to Europe instead of spending 5 days to get to your next door. So people go to Europe before they connect, and it's very, very seamless. So we can take advantage of that SATIM, Single African Air Transport Market. And Nigeria has the what do I call it? Nigeria have the market. The market is there. So we are not taking advantage of the market. African airlines like Ethiopia, like Kenya Airways, like European market airlines are coming to this country to take what rightly belongs to us. So, and this country has the highest yield for any foreign airline. The yield from this country is so massive that you cannot get that type of yield anywhere else, because Nigerians love to travel. Nigerians don't even look at the price. They don't look at the fare. If they have the money, they travel in class. So the market is really here. And that is why you have a lot of airlines coming into Nigeria, starting operations and eyeing the Nigerian market, because they know that the Nigerian market is very, very huge.
Well, interesting conversation as usual with you, Mr. Wole Shadari. It's always interesting talking aviation with you. Thank you so much for your time on this show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right.